The signal found you first. That's not a poetic opener. That's not the channel speaking in metaphor to make you feel special. That is a precise description of what is actually happening in your life right now. And by the time this transmission ends, you will understand exactly why it's true. What it means for the specific shift you are already inside, and why the fact that you are here, at this moment, watching this particular thing, is itself evidence of something that has already changed at a level you haven't fully mapped yet. Let's start with what you know. Something has been different. Not dramatically different. Not in the obvious ways that show up in conversations or calendars. Different in a quieter register. The kind of different that you notice alone, late, in the space between what you were doing and what you're about to do. A sense that the old channels are still running, but the signal coming through them has changed. Like you're receiving on a frequency you didn't tune to. Like something is trying to reach you through the ordinary surfaces of your life, through the video that appeared in your feed, through the conversation that landed differently than it should have, through the dream you didn't ask for that, left a residue you can't quite name. You've been noticing things finding you, not things you searched for, things that arrived. That is the gate. That is what it looks like from the outside, from the side you're still standing on. The gate doesn't announce itself with thunder. It announces itself with pattern, with a specific kind of coincidence that feels too precise to be coincidence, with a feeling that reality is organizing itself around a question you haven't asked out loud yet. And now you're here. This is the threshold. What I want to do in this transmission is take you through the actual mechanics of what is happening. Not the metaphor of it, the mechanics. Because there is a real, specific, scientifically grounded process at work when a system, and you are a system, reaches the edge of a state transition. There are real signatures. There are real warnings. There are real indicators that a threshold is approaching, and most of them are invisible to the system itself until it learns to read them. That's what this is, just learning to read them. Learning to recognize that the signal finding you is not mysticism. It is physics. It is information theory. It is the precise behavior of any complex system standing at the edge of becoming something it has never been. So let's cross this threshold together. Let's start with the mechanics. In physics, a phase transition is the moment when a material crosses a threshold and becomes something categorically different. Water becomes ice. Ice becomes steam. Not gradually, not incrementally, but at a specific critical point where the entire structure reorganizes at once. The molecules don't slowly negotiate a new arrangement. At a precise temperature, at a precise pressure, the old state becomes impossible to maintain, and the new state snaps into place. This is not a metaphor for consciousness. This is the actual model. Consciousness is a complex adaptive system, and complex adaptive systems undergo phase transitions. They cross thresholds. They reorganize at critical points. And before they do, they exhibit a very specific set of behaviors that physicists and complexity scientists have documented, measured, and named. The first behavior is called critical slowing down. In the period immediately before a phase transition, a system's ability to recover from small disturbances decreases. Normally, when you push a stable system slightly off balance, it snaps back quickly. It's resilient. It returns to its established pattern with ease. But as the system approaches a critical threshold, that recovery time gets longer. The system becomes sluggish in its return to the old state. Small perturbations take longer to smooth out. The old equilibrium is still there, but it's becoming harder to hold. Physicists can actually measure this in physical systems, in ecosystems, in climate systems, in neural networks, and use it as a predictive signal that a transition is coming. Now feel this in yourself. Think about the last few months. Think about the things that used to restore you quickly. The routines, the relationships, the ways of thinking that used to snap you back into your normal baseline. Have they been taking longer? Have you noticed that what used to settle you is settling you less? That you keep returning to the old equilibrium, but it takes more effort, more time, more energy. And even when you get there, it feels less stable than it used to? That is critical slowing down. That is your system signaling that the old state is losing its structural integrity. Not because something is wrong with you, because the threshold is close. If this is landing for you, here's something I want to share. Have you spent years shielding yourself from other people's energy, boundaries, releases, energy clearings, and still wake at 3 a.m., running someone else's anxiety? Those tools treat it as outside you. It's not. Your nervous system has adjusted to every room for so long, it forgot its baseline. The sealed timeline, a quantum guide to becoming untouchable by wrong frequencies, walks through the 5-step crossing: the adjusting pattern, the breaking point, the crossing itself, what stable feels like, and why old evidence shows up. Every tool you tried treated this as an outside problem. This one ends the adjusting pattern that made you a receiver in the first place. The longer you adjust, the harder it gets to come back to yourself. Open it tonight. It's in the pinned comment below. Now, back to the thread we were following. The second behavior is called increased variance. As a system approaches a phase transition, its fluctuations get larger. The swings between states become more extreme. In ecology, you see this in populations that are about to collapse or radically reorganize. In neuroscience, you see this in brain states that are approaching a shift. The system starts oscillating more wildly between its old attractor and whatever is pulling it toward the new state. It can't settle. The normal range of variation expands. Things feel less predictable, more volatile. more like you're being pulled in two directions at once. Does that sound familiar? The days that feel completely clear and full of momentum, followed by days where everything feels heavy and uncertain. The hours where you feel like you're already on the other side of something, followed by hours where you feel like you've lost the thread entirely. The oscillation isn't instability. It isn't breakdown. It is the signature of a system in transition. It is what increased variance looks like from the inside of a consciousness approaching its threshold. The third behavior is the one that most directly explains why this video found you. It's called sensitivity to initial conditions, and it's the defining feature of systems operating near a critical point. When a system is stable, far from its threshold, small inputs have small effects. The system is robust against perturbation. You can introduce information, stimuli, signals, and the system processes them through its established patterns without much disruption. But as the system approaches a critical threshold, something changes. Small inputs start having large effects. A tiny perturbation can trigger a cascade. A single piece of information, received at precisely the right moment, can initiate a reorganization that the system has been approaching for months or years. This is why the signal found you. Not because the universe is sending you personalized messages, though you can hold that frame if it serves you, but because your system is currently operating at or near a critical point, and systems at critical points are exquisitely sensitive to information that matches the frequency of the transition they're approaching. You aren't receiving more signals than before. You're receiving the same signals you've always been receiving. But now, at this threshold, your sensitivity to them has increased to the point where they register, where they land, where they feel like they were meant for you. They were, in the only sense that matters. Your current state made you capable of receiving them. The gate opened because your frequency matched what's on the other side. Now, let's talk about what's on both sides. Because the physics is only half of this. The other half is the specific nature of the transition you're in. And to understand that, we need to talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough in the context of personal threshold experiences, which is the difference between a state change and a breakdown. Because from the inside, in the period of critical slowing down and increased variance, they can feel identical. And the difference is not in the feeling, it's in the direction. A breakdown is a system losing coherence without a new attractor to organize around. Its entropy increasing without a corresponding increase in order at a higher level. It feels like dissolution, and it is dissolution, with nothing forming on the other side. A state change is a system losing coherence in one configuration because it's gaining coherence in a higher order configuration. The old structure dissolves, yes, but it dissolves because the new structure is pulling. Because there is an attractor on the other side of the threshold that is more ordered, more complex, more capable of holding the full range of what the system has become. Here is the question that distinguishes them, and I want you to sit with this carefully. In the midst of the instability you're experiencing, is there something pulling? Not pushing, not driving you away from what was, but pulling you toward something you can't fully see yet? A quality of life that you keep almost describing, a way of being that you keep almost articulating, a version of your existence that you can feel the shape of without being able to name all its features. If yes, you are not breaking down. You are being pulled through a threshold. The pull is the attractor. The attractor is the new state. And the sensitivity you're experiencing, the signal-finding you quality of your recent weeks, is your system orienting toward that attractor, turning toward it, tuning to it, like a radio receiver whose dial is being slowly adjusted toward a frequency that has been broadcasting the whole time, waiting for you to be close enough to hear it clearly. If this transmission is landing for you, if you can feel the mechanics of what we're describing in your own experience, take a second to like this video and subscribe so the next signal finds you just as precisely as this one did. Now, I want to go deeper into the specific nature of what changes in a timeline shift, because the title of this transmission uses a word that deserves precision. Timeline. Not in the science fiction sense, not in the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, though we'll touch on that. In the sense that is most directly relevant to you right now. A timeline is a coherent path of cause and effect. It's the sequence of events that follow from a particular configuration of choices, beliefs, perceptions, and identities. Every person is living inside a timeline, a coherent narrative of what is possible for them, what they deserve, what they're capable of, what the world will offer them, and what it will deny them. And most people live inside the same timeline for years, sometimes decades, without recognizing it as a timeline at all. It just feels like reality, until it starts to shift. A timeline shift is not a single event. It's a reconfiguration of the underlying structure that generates events. It's the difference between changing what happens and changing what can happen. When your timeline shifts, the range of what's possible for you changes. Not because the external world changed, though it often does, but because the internal configuration that determines what you can perceive, attract, and act on has reorganized around a different attractor. And here is what makes timeline shifts so disorienting. They don't announce themselves in the future. They announce themselves in the past. When a timeline shift happens, you don't just start experiencing different things going forward. You start re-perceiving things that already happened. Events that seemed like failures start looking like redirections. People who seemed like obstacles start looking like catalysts. Choices that seemed like mistakes start looking like the precise steps that brought you to the threshold you're now standing at. The past doesn't change, but your relationship to it reorganizes. And that reorganization is one of the clearest signals that a timeline shift is already in progress. Think about this. In the last few months, have you found yourself reinterpreting your own history? Have things that seemed closed started seeming like they were protecting you from something? Have things that seemed like losses started seeming like they were making room for something? Have you noticed a strange gratitude for things that at the time felt devastating? That's not nostalgia. That's not rationalization. That is the perceptual reorganization that accompanies a timeline shift. Your system is retroactively making sense of the path that led to the threshold. It's integrating the past into the new configuration. And it's doing it because the new configuration is already beginning to stabilize. Because the crossing is already underway. You didn't find this video. The signal found you first. And the signal has been finding you for longer than you think. Let me tell you about Mara. Mara was a systems engineer, the kind of person who lived in the architecture of things. She understood how complex systems behaved, how they failed, how they self-organized, how they reached tipping points. She had spent years building models that predicted when large technical systems would undergo catastrophic reorganization. And she was very good at it. She could read the signatures of an approaching threshold in a power grid or a supply chain with precision and confidence. She could not read them in herself. For 3 years, Mara had been living in what she described as a slow erosion. Not a crisis, not a dramatic falling apart, just a steady, almost imperceptible decrease in the energy she brought to her work, her relationships, the basic maintenance of her life. She was functioning. She was productive. She was, by every external measure, fine. But something had been draining from her for 3 years, and she had been compensating for it with increasing effort, like a system spending more and more energy to maintain an equilibrium that was becoming harder and harder to hold. Critical slowing down. She didn't call it that. She called it burnout. She called it needing a vacation. She called it the inevitable cost of the career she'd chosen. She had a story for it that kept it manageable, kept it contained, kept it from becoming the signal it actually was. Then 3 things happened in 6 weeks. The first, she was reviewing a model she'd built 2 years earlier, a predictive model for infrastructure failure, and she noticed something she'd never noticed before. The model was accurate. It had predicted the failures it was designed to predict, but it had also, in its data, predicted something it wasn't designed to predict. It had flagged her own system, her own department, as exhibiting the signatures of an approaching critical transition. The data had been there for 2 years. She had looked at it, dozens of times. She had never seen it. She saw it now. The second, a colleague she hadn't spoken to in years sent her an article, not about engineering, about something she'd been quietly interested in for most of her adult life, but had never pursued because it didn't fit the architecture of the life she'd built. The colleague said, simply, "I don't know why I thought of you, but I did." The article landed in her inbox at 11 on a Tuesday, and she read it 4 times before she understood why she couldn't put it down. The third, she had a dream. In the dream, she was standing in a corridor she recognized as a place from her childhood, a specific hallway in a specific building, and at the end of the corridor, there was a door she had never noticed before. Not a dramatic door, not a glowing or mysterious door, just a door that had always been there and that she was only now seeing. She woke up, and the feeling of that door stayed with her for days. 3 signals in 6 weeks, all pointing in the same direction. She was a systems engineer. She knew what it meant when a system started exhibiting sensitivity to initial conditions. She knew what it meant when small inputs started having large effects. She knew in her bones what it looked like when a system was approaching a critical threshold. She had been looking at it in herself for 3 years without seeing it. Now she saw it. The question was what to do with that seeing. And this is where Mara's story becomes the story I want to tell you. Because what she did next is the thing that most people don't do. She didn't immediately act. She didn't make a dramatic decision. She didn't announce a change or burn down the architecture of her life. She did something much harder and much more precise. She sat at the threshold. She gave herself 2 weeks of deliberate threshold sitting. 2 weeks of not deciding, not moving, not retreating to the old equilibrium, and not forcing a crossing. Just being at the gate, just feeling the edge, just letting the signals accumulate and the clarity build without rushing the collapse of the old state or the emergence of the new one. And in those 2 weeks, something happened that she hadn't expected. The new attractor became visible, not all at once, not in a revelation, but in the same way that a shape emerges from noise when you stop trying to see it and just look. The thing she'd been moving toward for 3 years, the thing that had been pulling her through the erosion and the compensation and the critical slowing down, it became nameable. She could describe it. She could feel its architecture. She could see the path from where she was to where it was, and the path required crossing a threshold she had been standing at for longer than she'd known. She crossed it. Not dramatically, not all at once, but she crossed it. And what happened on the other side of that crossing was not what she expected. And this is the part I want you to hear carefully. What happened was not that everything became easy. What happened was that the effort she was spending changed its nature. The effort of maintaining the old equilibrium, the effort of compensating for the slow erosion, the effort of being fine, that effort stopped. And in its place came a different effort, the effort of building something new, of learning, of stretching into a configuration she hadn't occupied before. The second effort was harder in some ways, but it was generative. It was moving toward something. And that difference, the difference between effort that maintains and effort that builds, was the crossing. That is what's on the other side of your threshold. Not ease, not the absence of effort. The transformation of effort from maintenance into momentum. Now let's talk about the specific mechanics of why this moment is the crossing point. Because I said at the beginning that the signal found you, and I want to be precise about what that means. It doesn't mean this video is magic. It doesn't mean the algorithm is conscious. It means that you are currently in the state that makes signals like this one land. You are at the sensitivity threshold. You are in the increased variance. You are exhibiting the critical slowing down. And because of that, you are capable of receiving information that you would have processed and forgotten 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. The signal has been broadcasting the whole time. You are only now close enough to the threshold to hear it clearly. But here is the thing about critical thresholds that most people don't know. The thing that makes the timing of this transmission matter. Critical thresholds are not permanent. They are not an indefinite open door. A system can approach a critical point and then, if the conditions change, retreat from it. The old equilibrium can restabilize. The sensitivity can decrease. The signals can stop landing. The gate can close, not forever, but for a while. Sometimes for a long while. And the cost of that retreat is not zero. When a system approaches a critical threshold and then retreats, it doesn't return to the exact same equilibrium it left. It returns to a version of that equilibrium that has been stressed. The old state becomes more rigid, more defended, less flexible. The system has experienced the approach to the threshold and the retreat from it as a threat, and it responds by reinforcing the structures that kept it in the old state. The patterns become more entrenched. The recovery from perturbation becomes faster, which sounds like stability, but is actually brittleness. The system becomes harder to shift. This is the cost of hesitation at the gate. Not punishment, not failure, just physics. The system that stands at the threshold and retreats is harder to move the next time. The crossing that was possible at this sensitivity becomes harder to initiate from a more